All right. So right before we started the show, I ran out to I have been like Ralphie in A Christmas Story, running out to my mailbox every day, waiting for my copy of the vintage collection, the Star Wars vintage collection archive to come out, and from the guys over at Blue Milk. And I'm so jelly because Jimmy Mack just happened to get one of the first ones that rolled out into mailboxes. This is something I backed on Kickstarter. Geez, how long ago was this? This was like two years ago. And of course, the pandemic hit, and we don't need to explain. And of course, there were production delays and all that. But all good things that come to those who wait, especially for us here at Rebel Force Radio, because not only were we fans of the project and backed it, we ended up being in it.
Yeah,
Rebel Force Radio got credited, and for all characters, of course. Who do you think Rebel Force Radio got a footnote in this particular character's entry? It would be Ben Quadrinaros, the Ben Quadrinaros figure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the book is phenomenal. It's great. Jason, I gave you a screenshot of page 129, which is the Ben Quadrinaros page. And if you wouldn't mind, I would like you to read the entry, just because I'm quoted in it, so I don't want to read.
Oh, you don't want to read your own quote. All right, well, check this out. Okay, so for those of you who aren't watching this on video, this is essentially like imagine an encyclopedia that covers the entire Star Wars vintage collection, the modern vintage collection line. So this began with I think the very first ones to come out. It was the Saga collection. That was the line of figures that was coming out, and it started out, I believe, as an exclusive subline of the Saga collection, or maybe it was the original trilogy collection. I might get those two confused. But it started out as an exclusive. I believe they were at Toys R Us here in the States, and they were in these clamshells. And it was the first time that we got to see modern Star Wars figures on those classic vintage card backs. And our heads exploded at the possibilities. And Kyle Newman, our good buddy, was just like, okay, that's it. We don't ever need to see another card back design ever again. This is it. You want to sell a Star Wars action figure, put it on these card backs, and you'll have no problems. And so that line sort of ran its course, and then it came back. Anyway, this fabulous book, the Vintage Collection Archive, has attempted to catalog all of these with great photos. And there is, as we mentioned, this Ben Quadrinaros entry. And here's what it says. So there's a little bio on how each of these figures came about, some backstory. So this goes back to December 2011 is when this figure was released. And it says, if not for the online community, this Ben Quadrinaros action figure might not exist. For years, podcasters Jimmy McInerney and Jason Swank, along with Lucasfilm's Dave Filoni, would egg on their friend Kyle Newman, director of the Star Wars themed film Fanboys, who despised this pod racing character. Quoting Jimmy Mack, Kyle was so passionate about his hate, it became a running joke on the show. Then it really took off when Filoni started piling on, and it developed into a meme that grew beyond the show. Perhaps misunderstood, the attention didn't go unnoticed by Hasbro. The theatrical release of The Phantom Menace in 3D allowed them to capitalize on the craze. Ben Quadrinaros featured a shocking amount of articulation, considering the character's limited physical attributes. These included ball-jointed shoulders, elbows, hips. This is, nerdy action figure guy stuff.
Right, and that's how they break down all the figures.
But the fact that they covered the lore, and this is truly RFR and Ben Quadrinaros lore of Kyle just ranting not only about his love of vintage, but also his hatred of this character and how it just did not belong in Star Wars. And so funny, but really happy that they included us in this, Jim. That's awesome.
Well, it's just goes to show you how accurate this book really is. And what's really funny though is that there were people at Hasbro who got wind of the Ben Q hype that was being generated here on Rebel Force Radio, and they took it as a sign that this is a super popular character among fans.
That's all they can talk about.
Yeah, they just couldn't believe the amount of viral buzz Ben Quadrinaros was getting, and it was basically an inside joke here on the show.
Right.
And it emerged as an actual action figure. I have failed my buddy Kitster a great deal. I've been really championing his debut as a plastic action figure, and Kenner never or Hasbro never paid attention to that.
Well, it almost happened.
Kyle Newman. It almost happened.
It almost happened. Yes, there was
a number of times.
There was. We have on good authority that there was a 2-pack that was planned. It was on the schedule of Kitster and Wald.
Yeah.
And I believe what derailed it, if I'm not mistaken, was the sequel trilogy. Or it was either the sequel trilogy. Yeah, no, it was the sequel trilogy. Maybe it was the 3D releases. Something.
I think it might have been something like that. But
something
they would have been great
derailed
for the 3D releases.
I know. So maybe it wasn't
the only film that came out in 3D.
Right.
But the Phantom Menace also, when that was released in 3D, I think that really did a lot to kill the vintage collection for a number of years, because for some Hasbro just, once bitten, twice shy, not them. They flooded the marketplace with Jar Jar Binks action figures on a vintage card. Did they not learn their lesson? And that tanked the line. I don't know if that's what it says in the book, but for me as an observer, that's what I saw happen.
Well, what we have heard is that for whatever reason, when the Phantom Menace was coming out in 3D, the short-term memory was that, wow, we had so much product on the shelves. We're going to do that again. We're going to recreate the Phantom Menace frenzy that we had back in 1999. And it is still, you could make a case that that wave of figures for that Phantom Menace 3D release is what began the bottlenecking of Hasbro Star Wars action figures, the 3 3/4, getting onto the shelves. It created such a backlog because those sat on the pegs for such a long time that things, they started to end up on clearance. And once they start going into clearance, then the stores don't want to buy more of them. Anyway, you really could make a claim that Phantom Menace nearly killed the Star Wars action figure line twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. They don't learn. But and once again, the Black Series puts out a Jar Jar Binks action figure in 2021.
Right.
It's the only thing you ever find on the pegs still to this day. I went into Best Buy the other day and like just pegs and pegs filled with these Jar Jar Binks action figures. Newsflash. There are enough Jar Jar Binks action figures in circulation for several lifetimes.
Yeah.
There does not need to be any more Jar Jar Binks anything produced by anyone ever. End of rant.
I don't know that if I mentioned this on the show. I think maybe I have, but I have a Walgreens by me.
Oh, I thought you had a Walgreens.
That still
has a Walgreens.
That still has in box on shelf at full retail a Captain Zuvio 6-inch Black Series figure from The Force Awakens. Hand to God, still. Should I go buy it? Maybe I should go buy it. To put it out of its misery.
We'll just take a picture of it at least on the pegs.
It's in full retail, baby.
And then buy it.
It's unbelievable.
I want everyone to know about this Blue Milk book, though, because it is spectacular. It's in the tradition of some of Steve Sansweet's great action figure books from the past, and is a very comprehensive look at the vintage collection through 2019. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a great read. It's if you don't own these action figures, it almost feels like you do when you own this book. And that's a real bonus. That's how you know the guys did a great job. Rich and Dave Myatt, Dave Myatt, we go way back with him.
Oh boy,
and he's a great friend of ours. And they also gave they have these bonuses that come with some of the Kickstarter tiers, and one of them is this commemorative coin set, which is looks like the old coins that came with the action figures. You get Jabba Slave One and Jabba's sail barge, and those are really nice. And they also sent me this. These are prototype coins. They're kind of hard to see on camera. They're black, so they don't really reflect. And then a little blue milk patch, and this really nice portfolio of excellent action figure photographs from very talented photographers. It also comes with a yak face bookmark. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful package. If you got involved on a Kickstarter, you should be seeing your book soon. They had some production delays, which was really out of their control. So don't blame the guys. They're coming through big time. And if you ordered, you'll be getting your book soon.
I hope so. Like I said, I'm running out to the mailbox every day. Can't wait for mine.
You'll get a shipping notice.
Oh, okay.
I did at least.
Okay.
So that was nice to know that it was coming.
Yeah.
Then I started looking in the mailbox every day, and I was so excited when it did show up. So I just want to congratulate the guys for doing such excellent work and providing us with a really high quality hardcover book that focuses on the things we love, which are Star Wars action figures, and this focuses on the vintage collection.
Hey.
And books will be made available. If you didn't do Kickstarter, the guys will be at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. They'll have a table there. You'll be able to buy the book there. Once they get their pre-orders out the door, then you'll be able to follow up and make a purchase and get this book. And also there's a digital edition of it too. So I definitely suggest you support these guys. The website's interesting. It's Blue Milk, but it's www.bluemi.lk. So instead of a .com, it's an .lk. bluemi.lk. And the book is on the pre-orders are all getting sent now, and as soon as all the backer books are sent out, they'll be moving to in-stock orders. And
boy, that's laid out a lot like in fact, I was just looking through the Steve Sansweet book. I got it right.
The silver one.
Yes.
This is the format is inspired by Steve's classic book about Star Wars action
this
figures.
Book. And
what's the name of that one?
This is the Star Wars. Yeah, the Star Wars, the Action Figure Archive.
I love that book.
This is such a great book, and I'll tell you, it's come in clutch for me because I just started cleaning up and redisplaying my childhood vintage collection figures, and I got a little confession to make. I did buy some repro weapons, so I'm not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. I'm not selling this, but I love the way they display with some of these repro weapons. And I was a little kid. I was 3 years old. I was 5 years old playing with these things. I lost the weapons, but here's what's so cool about this book is that they show you how to match up the weapons with the figures. Yeah. So that has really come in handy for me as I'm working on this display of these vintage figures. And anyway, if it's half as good as Steve's book, the original Action Figure Archive, I just can't wait. I can't wait. So,
and Steve does the foreword for the new book, the vintage collection book from Blue Milk. You got a nice foreword there from Steve Sansweet, a photo of the man there.
Yeah.
And just such a high quality work. And it's, produced by Star Wars fans.
Right.
These guys are collectors, and they intimately know everything about Star Wars action figures. I think I know a lot about Star Wars action figures. These guys have pedigrees. They're like action figure PhDs, man.
Yeah.
They're so sharp. They know everything. They know more about the action figures, Rich and Dave Myatt. D. Martin Myatt, I should say. Is
I'm excited.
His pen name. They know more than people at Hasbro, is what I'm saying.
The tier that I bought, I was excited because they got this fella, Kim Simmons, who did the original photography of the card backs for the vintage line. When you saw the figures all displayed on that yellow background, which is very iconic. So he recreated that for this incredible poster. So I'm really looking forward to that, having it hung up in the RFR studios. I've just been full of nostalgia for my original Star Wars action figures. And I always credit Jimmy Mack, because for the longest time I wouldn't want to put them on display because they were well played with. They were really, some of the paint's worn off. And I thought, I had this idea that, you didn't display something that looked like it had been played with. You displayed new, fresh stuff. And when you go over and you spend time in Jimmy Mack's Star Wars room, you see that most of the action figures on especially the vintage stuff, they're all from your childhood, and they are played with, and you can tell that they're well loved. And they still, in fact, I think that they display better because they display with all those memories, and you get all the feels and all of that. Nothing against if your thing is to go out there and buy mint on card vintage Star Wars action figures, first of all, congratulations, you're a millionaire, obviously. But that's totally up to you. But when you're displaying parts of your own childhood, your own history as a fan, that's I think that's even better.
It's even better. And boy, that picture you showed of Kim Simmons there, can you put that back on the screen? Yeah. He's the original photographer of the vintage Star Wars action figure line. And this is such a great picture of him because he has that old school brown camera, that classic vintage camera, and he's got it functioning. I think it goes
poof when you take the picture.
Well, it could. I mean, and of course, those the thing that you used to screw the flash bulb into is very famously known to Star Wars fans as the hilt of the lightsabers, as fashioned by
was it the graphics company or
who's the set designer that he works with? Roger Christian.
Yes.
Roger Christian. And our own Paul Bateman actually works with Roger on some things. And so he took the flash bulb handle and turned that into a lightsaber hilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, graphics or something, right? So this guy, he could be using a lightsaber to take pictures of lightsabers.
Yeah, the camera is so old, he throws the black tarp over himself.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And it's got a plate. The film is a plate. You slide in and out of it. Yeah, it's really cool.
So they're really being super authentic with this stuff. These figures are being photographed the way they were back in the 70s.
They weren't photographed with that kind of camera in the 70s.
Well, I don't know. Why would Kim be posing with this?
Oh my God. I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah.
But it's a great book. I really recommend it. So bluemi.lk.com. Tell them Rebel Force Radio sent you.